Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Hannah, and for today's video I'm going to teach you guys about what I do to prevent breakage in my locks. And if you're new here, my name is Hannah and I've had locks for over 5 years. So in today's video I'm going to give you guys all the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way so you don't have to stumble and fall like I have. So let's get into today's video. So my first tip for preventing breakage with your locks is low manipulation hairstyles or low maintenance hairstyles. Low maintenance, you know, when I first got locks, I'm like, what exactly does that mean? Now, when we're thinking low maintenance with locks, what we're really looking at is we want to see styles that do not require the manipulation of the lock itself, whether it's twisting, bending, folding, that kind of nature, tucking, anything that essentially changes the format of what it normally is to a bended type style is what we see when we say that, oh, that's a lot of maintenance or it's high maintenance on your locks. So what I've learned as someone who, when my locks first started like growing out, I loved a good bob. I loved a good bob. Bobby on me every day of the week, every month. When I used to do my own hair, which I still do some months, majority of months, but I would wash my hair, put it in a bob. Wash my hair, want to braid, twist, this, that. And I was really experimenting a lot with my locks and nothing was wrong with that. However, what I wasn't thinking about is that my hair, because I was doing the same styles, particularly the bob and a few other ones, is that they were being bent at the same point. And what people don't understand is if you're bending at the same point over and over and over and over, eventually it becomes weak because that spot is being over manipulated. And we typically don't understand that till it's like, oh, I'm looking at my lock and it looks limp at a point and it's looking thinner. That's where we see that breakage. That's what it looks like. For those who don't know what breakage looks like on a lock, it's when a lock consistently looks one way and part of it, whether it's the end or the middle or even up near the root, starts to look thinner compared to the rest of it, as if there is going to be a separation or as if it can no longer hold and continue the strength of the entire lock as it should be. Now for low maintenance hairstyles, perfect example of ones you can do is leaving your hair all down, headband styles, ones that require, if you're going to use a hair tie, looping it twice or maybe one time as opposed to 3 and 4, because when you're tying even your hair tie, depending on the hair tie, when you tie it multiple times, it can cause a lot of manipulation and stress on your locks. So because of that, one thing I've invested in, these fluffy hair ties. And of course they're not going to give you the hold of a tight slick back boop, 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 but using things like this, the point is that you don't want it to be so tight to where it causes bends and stress on your hair. So I would say these, and then one thing I've really been wanting to try that I have seen on TikTok is these like wrap things that almost look like, what is those things called? They almost look like pipe cleaners, but they're hair ties in a sense, but they're not hair ties, they wrap. And I've been seeing girls wear them. I will drop it below. I will find the link and tag it because I want to try them myself. But instead of using a hair tie, it essentially wraps around and holds your hair like a hair tie without the stress of it. But going back to what I'm saying, low maintenance styles, my favorite ones, wearing all my hair down. I'm a bandana girl. I love wearing hats. 2 pigtails, that was the one I did a lot in my mid-20s. I'm 29 now. Not that I won't do it, but things like that. Some of the ones that caused me the worst breakage, bobs every month. Bobs every month, twisted styles, because I even like to do half up, half down with like twisted bangs or this or that, all that twisting. My messy bun, believe it or not, I realized was stressing my ends because I was just tucking the pieces around and around. But yes, one of the biggest things that can really help your lock journey is low maintenance hairstyles. And I'm not saying you can't do a bob here and there, can't do a twisted style, but be mindful of how frequently you're doing them. And that's why I love taking pictures, so I can see, oh wait, I just had a bob a month ago, I can't do a bob next month, can't do another one for 2 months, I need to find some other styles to do. And low maintenance styles are gonna just help you a lot if you're seeing breakage or you're trying to find ways to prevent breakage, so to speak, in your journey. The second thing that is going to help with breakage, and I'm not gonna lie, I know this, but we all get a little lazy, consistent hair practices. One thing I always swear by, if you're someone who's dealt with dry locks, I say hot oil treatments every month. Do I do them every month? I try. There are months where I don't. And when I don't, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on with my hair? I'm like, I haven't been following my routine. Same with rose water. Now I have the routine of spraying rose water in my hair every single day. But when I didn't, I'd be like, well, what's going on with my hair? I'm doing everything. No, I'm rushing. I'm not giving my hair the time and attention it needs. Am I using a leave-in conditioner every day or every other day? Have I been putting oil on my hair? Have I been using my scarf? When you know what routine gives you your hair at your best, you need to stick to it. Just the same way you love everything else in your life, you need to treat your hair like the crown glory that it is. And part of that is by following and sticking to your routine of caring for your hair, not just throwing on a bonnet. That is not all hair care. I'm talking about the products that you use, using those consistently, not just jumping and shifting every time something new comes out, making sure you're oiling your scalp, doing all the things that really are going to give you healthy hair. And what I will say is when I'm following everything the way I'm supposed to, I'm like, man, my hair thriving. Like, what changed? Nothing changed. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. So one tip would be, when you get your routine down or your loctician tells you what to do, stick to it and listen, and you will see your hair really start to thrive. You'll notice less breakage. Another thing that I would say really help with not seeing breakage in my locks, I'm gonna sip mine before I say this. It's a little wine. Prioritizing hair health over neatness. As a girl who loves to take photos, love to be online, you know, obviously, I'm here on social media. I think it can be a little jarring in the lock community when you see people who always seem like they have a fresh retwist. It never looks like their hair is worn. You're looking at, and the Bailey sisters are not part of this, but when you see like people who can constantly have that freshest, newest retwist all the time, sometimes you can get into that bubble thinking, wow, my hair never looks that neat, or how are they able to maintain it all the time? Neatness is not going to protect your hair. And the reason I say that is because you're supposed to retwist your hair no more than once a month. I remember I've even had friends be like, oh, Hannah, we'll just retwist the front. And I remember there's a time where I'm like, oh yeah, let me do that quickly so I look better. I look great without a retwist. And so do you. You do not need to be retwisting your hair every time you go out for neatness because it's going to look better, or you don't want to look this, that. You look beautiful with your hair, whether it is grown out of that retwist or you have a fresh one. But if you prioritize having the freshest looking locks at all time, you are going to see breakage. I'm sorry, because your locks are not meant to be twisted at its base multiple times a month. It's just not. And that's going into the over manipulation as well. You think bending is bad? Twisting? Please do not fall into the trap of thinking that your hair needs to look neat all the time. And if you're a little uncomfortable and you're going through the phases of like budding and stuff like that in the earlier part of your journey, again, try scarves, try hats. Even when I remember I wore a wig probably twice so far in my look journey, 2 or 3 times. And when I have in the earlier stages, I didn't have to braid my hair down because it was short. I just threw on a cap and put it on. Instead of having to manipulate my hair. I get that when you're in your lock journey, it's kind of adjustment. I will say, as someone who always had the wigs and loved to switch their hair 3 or 4 times a week, switching to locks was such an adjustment of understanding that this hairstyle is not meant to look neat all the time. But that lack of neatness, I don't see it as my hair is not neat. How I see it as is my hair has so much personality and it's so cute. And again, now that I've become comfortable, which is, it's okay to take time to become comfortable, but now that I'm comfortable with it, I don't care if I got a fresh retwist at all. I really don't. But I will say you need to prioritize your hair health over neatness for photos and going out and this and that, because especially people who don't have locks will not understand the damage that it will do if you're retwisting the front of your hair and you're this and that multiple times a month just to keep it fresh. Wear a scarf and just keep it smooth that way, but I would not recommend retwisting your hair or even just the front of your hair mid-month just to get a fresh look. It's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it. The next step I'm going to talk about is minimizing friction and manipulation, which kind of goes into the things we're talking about, what I have talked about as far as over manipulating your locks. One thing we don't think about is how much our hair can rub against other things. We need to think about the gym equipment. If it's sitting right here and you have your locks down all the time instead of moving it, the shirts and jackets it's rubbing across if they're not silk lined, using hats that aren't silk lined, using a scarf because you lost yours that isn't silk lined. All those things, that's that constant friction. Because one thing about breakage, it's typically mechanical, not dryness. Mechanical meaning, again, it is either the movement of the actual lock itself. Constant touching, retwisting, retouching, all of that is weakening the lock because you're manipulating something that is in one state. The more you think of, you got the perfect example. Think of Play-Doh. You ever get Play-Doh and you roll it together? And I had some Play-Doh. And let's say you make a cylinder with your Play-Doh. The more you rub the Play-Doh, it becomes thinner and thinner and it becomes longer. It's becoming longer, but when you rub the Play-Doh out and out and out, what does it eventually do? It breaks. It eventually breaks. And that is what that friction and manipulation does to your locks. So one thing you want to be mindful is the backpacks, the purses, the things that are really just sitting on your hair and rubbing against it. You're on the couch. Me, I'm a bonnet girl. The second I get in the house, I got my bonnet or a scarf on. But you gotta think about, where's your hair rubbing against? What is your hair actually experiencing throughout the day? And I promise you, if you're not really aware of it, becoming aware of it also will help you protect your locks. For example, if I had my hair down right now, one of the main reasons I would have it in a bonnet is because unless it's in a ponytail, it is just gonna rub against stuff. If I lay on the couch, it's rubbing against the couch. Same with my recliner. I don't want to have that. I want to reduce as much friction as possible, which is why those bonnets, those hats, those scarves and stuff like that, and even just putting your hair up and elevated sometimes is really going to save you. Because again, breakage is mechanical. It's not often that it's simply dryness itself. This last and final tip is about protecting weak spots in your locks and honoring whatever phase in your lock journey that you're in. So some of the weakest points for your locks include the nape, the ends, and the crown. So those are the areas we really need to protect. And when I say protecting, I show them more attention. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I spray my leave-in conditioner, my daily sprays and what have you, I put more attention on my ends and on my nape and stuff. So I always do the length first, and then at the ends I'll grab them and go like this. And then I always push my hair forward and I go right across the front. I even do my oils strictly at the front, and then I do the same with the back, where I lift it up, spray, and do that. And that's because those are the areas that are more susceptible to breaking easily. So show those areas a little more attention. That's what I do, and I feel like that significantly helped me out with locks and breakage. Another thing, and the last thing, which is the second half of what I said, is honoring the lock phase. Depending on the phase that you're in, your hair might not be mature enough to do certain things. So if you just got locks and you're not even fully through budding, or some of it is budding, you're not going to want to do too much of, let's say, twisting in certain styles when your hair hasn't even truly formulated. Now, if a loctician does them for you and she's maintaining them, that's a little different. But one thing I'll say is, I was trying to do so many styles when my hair was budding, and it kept matting together where it was doing this number. And because I wasn't separating at night, I felt like my hair was starting to stick together. I had locks marrying each other. And if you don't know, a lock marrying each other is when it does this. It does this number. It just starts connecting. And I saw a lot of that happening where I'm like, I was going to the loctician, she ripping my hair apart. And not like ripping my hair apart, like hurting me, being like, girl, what are you doing? And I was doing a bunch of fun styles because I was trying to do so much. I'm not trying to say with your hair is newly budding, you can't do this and you can't do that, but you have to be way more mindful, because locking, at first, there is a full transition to get to being locked. And I think people don't talk about how much your hair changes in that first year. I feel like the hardest part when you're locking at first, if you do it like from the ground up, is that you're trying to learn something that's constantly adapting and changing and modifying. So the second you're like, oh, I finally got my finger coils good, now we got budding. Now this is happening, now it's that. And all of your locks aren't doing it at the same time. So honoring that. And the reason I say the styles in this phase is because for me, the locks that took the longest were the edges. And that's because I was trying to do up styles. I was trying to do this. I was trying to do that. And these ones were constantly falling out. Like, not falling out, excuse me, falling out of the finger coil. So what I was having to do, every morning I'm retwisting, recoiling, instead of just letting them sit there to fully mature. So that was a huge issue with me. But I will say, even though I didn't do this, I didn't see a loctician till, no, I saw them kinda I don't remember how early. It wasn't very early in my career, in my lock journey. And I will say, when you go to a professional, they will do styles that prevent you from being able to be so fully in your hair and like messing up the journey itself. But because I wasn't doing that, and I was just doing whatever I wanted, the ones around the edges were just taking for freaking ever. And instead of like paying attention, saying, oh, what am I doing so differently around the edges of my hair versus the remaining of my locks to where it's maturing so slowly, I just kept doing what I wanted. So I would say honor the phase that you're in. Do research and be like, what does this phase look like? And also, if y'all want me to do a video on the different phases of locking that I experienced and what I learned, I give y'all that too. But I would say really honor the lock phase that you're in and allow it to go through budding, allow it to go through these different phases so that you can get to mature locks where you're able to really manipulate them without the fear of breaking them or messing up the process itself. But that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys liked it. And if you guys have any questions, definitely make sure to drop them below. And if you haven't seen the other videos, go check out my other lock videos. They're great too. And I will see you guys later. Bye.